Welcome to Lesson 1 of our Pre-Algebra series, Introduction to Integers. In today's lesson, we are going to explore the building blocks of all integer operations, positive numbers, negative numbers, and how they are organized on the number line. Even this topic feels familiar, stay with me. Everything that comes later, adding, subtracting, equations, relies on what we cover right here. Alright, let's jump in. Before we start doing operations with integers, let's get a clear definition. Integers are whole numbers and their opposites, so that includes numbers like 3, 2, 1, and also negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and of course 0 right in the center. One important thing, integers do not include decimals or fractions, so numbers like 4.5 or 1/3 are not integers. The number line is one of the best ways to see integers in order. It lays out every integers from left to right. Right in the middle we have 0. 0 is our center point. It separates the positives from the negatives. All positive numbers are to the right of 0, and all negative numbers are to the left of 0. Let's look at a few points on the number line. Negative 3 is 3 units to the left of 0. And positive 2 is 2 units to the right of 0. 0 stays right in the middle, the center point. And remember, opposites like negative 3 and positive 3 are the same distance from 0. Opposite integers are numbers that are the same distance from 0. One of them is positive and the other is negative. They mirror each other on the number line. For example, negative 4 and positive 4 are opposites. Both are exactly 4 units from 0, just on different sides. Absolute value tells us how far a number is from 0 on the number line. Because distance can't be negative, absolute value is always positive, no exception. For example, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. And the absolute value of positive 3 is 3 because it's 3 units away from 0. Let's do some quick checks. First, what is the absolute value of negative 2? Next one, the absolute value of 7, easy one. How about 0? Remember, 0 is already 0 units from 0. And again, absolute value is always positive or 0 because it's measuring distance. Now let's connect these ideas. Opposite integers always have the same absolute value. For example, negative 6 and positive 6 are opposites on the number line. The absolute value of negative 6 is 6 and the absolute value of positive 6 is also 6. Same distance from 0, different direction. Quick review. Integers include positive numbers, negative numbers, and 0. The number line helps us see how these numbers are ordered and which direction they go. Opposites are always the same distance from 0, just on opposite sides. And absolute value tells us that distance. It's always positive or 0. Let's try a guided practice together. First, plot negative 3 on the number line. Now identify how far it is from 0. Remember, we count units. Next, plot positive 4 on the number line. Here's another guided practice. Start by identifying the opposites negative 8 and positive 8. Next, find their absolute value, how far each one is from 0. Now compare the absolute values of negative 8 and positive 8 and explain why they are equal. Opposites always share the same distance from 0. For this guided practice, start by identifying the integers. We're working with negative 12. Next, decide whether it's positive or negative. Check the sign. Now find the absolute value, meaning the distance from 0. So the absolute value of negative 12 is 12. Now it's your turn. Let's move into independent practice. For each number, identify the integer clearly. Then determine the sign. It is positive or negative. And finally, find the absolute value of each one. Here are your integers: negative 5, positive 9, and negative 14. Let's quickly check your answers. Negative 5 is of course a negative integer and its absolute value is 5. Positive 9 is positive and its absolute value is 9. Negative 14 is a negative integer and its absolute value is 14. If you got this correct, great. You're understanding the basics of integers. Before we wrap up, here's a quick check to make sure everything is solid. Identify the integers you see, negative 27. Next, state the sign, positive or negative, and finally find the absolute value, how far it is from 0. Take a second, pause if you need, and think through it. Here's the answer to quick check. The integer is negative 27. Its sign is negative and the absolute value of negative 27 is 27. If you got this correct, you're right on track. Let's wrap up today's lesson with a quick summary. Integers include both positive and negative whole numbers. We use the number line to visualize and compare them. Opposites have the same distance from 0, just on different sides, and absolute value is simply that distance from 0. These ideas will be foundation for adding and subtracting integers in the next lesson. Great job finishing lesson 1 on integers. If you need a quick review, feel free to rewind and check any part again. In the next lesson, we'll start adding integers and everything you learned today will make that much easier. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss lesson 2 and the rest of the ProAlgebra series. See you in the next video.